Well, g'day folks, welcome back to the channel. The next part of my prep, replacing the chain and sprockets. When you think about how much you spend on a trip, time and effort, and accommodation, food, drink and all the rest of it, I can swap out the chain and both sprockets probably less than about $180. $180, that's like one night's accommodation and a meal and a few drinks. Replace all your chain and sprockets before you go and save yourself any drama whatsoever.
Wheel bearing gone.
Putting on a 48 tooth rear sprocket, an X-ring chain, 14 tooth front sprocket. Now the sprocket that's on it, the super sprockets, these are awesome sprockets. They are the hardest, longest wearing thing that I've ever seen, and this one looks absolutely perfect as far as I can tell. But it's a 50 and I do particularly want to try a 48. So I'm going to swap this one out even though it doesn't really need it. And how can you tell when a sprocket needs to be changed? It's fairly obvious on the front sprockets because they wear out pretty quick, probably about 3 times faster than the rear, just due to the number of teeth that's on them. And if you look at these couple of candidates here, you can maybe see, especially on this one, that they start to hook over. Now this is that's actually upside down. That's the way that it would sit on the bike, and as the engine's turning it this way, these teeth tend to hook backwards, so they get that wave sort of shape on it, and you can kind of see it there. This one here is off a DR. Same deal. As it turns, it wears the front face of the tooth as it's turning this way. It wears that front face, and they get that hook on them. So let's get into changing this rear sprocket first. You've obviously got bolts that go through there, and there's a nut on the back. While the bolt looks really accessible, don't try and turn the bolt. You turn the nut. You're going to need a 13mm spanner and a T45 to hold the bolts. And something else I've found, sprockets bite. Like, they really hurt your hands and your fingers when you're pushing on something, and eventually something is going to slip and the spanner's going to give way and you're going to grind all your fingers on these teeth. So I've taken to using a mallet just to get it started. And once you get it started, then you can turn the bolt and hold the nut. So let's just get the rest of these off. There we go. There's the old one. The teeth on this thing are, I mean, they're just perfect. There's really no wear to be seen on these. That's done about 6,000 Ks, that sprocket. Not bad. In theory, when you change chains and sprockets, you're supposed to do the whole lot so that they all wear together. With the super sprockets that on the back, it hardly ever wears out anyway. I know I'm on another chain since that sprocket went on, and I've gone through multiple fronts. Now I have no idea if these sprockets are any good. MTX, I've not used them before. Bike shop where I bought them said they sell heaps of them and they last for ages, so I want to try a 48. This sprocket was about $45. Super sprockets are about 130. So if it works for me, I'll probably get the super sprockets next time. This trip, it's only got to last me about probably 3,000 Ks total. So if I get 3,000 Ks out of it for 45 bucks, I'm pretty happy with that. When you're reinstalling and if you are using the same bolts that came out of it, just make sure you clean them up a bit. Get all the old Loctite out. So I just get a wire brush, give them a brush around with that. And I'll be using the blue thread locker Loctite. Just clean up that sprocket carrier. Make sure you install it with the countersink parts on the outside. Put a drop of thread locker on it. I'll get all these in finger tight and then tighten them all once they are all in there. They're not nylock nuts or anything, so they just spin straight on. But the thread locker obviously does a great job. Does what it's supposed to and locks it on there. Reckon there's going to be a whole lot of fast forwarding in this video. It's all a bit repetitive. 6 of everything. Right, they're all finger tight. It's not hung up on the edge or anything. It's sitting nice and flat. So then it is a matter of tightening them back up. I'm just going to work my way around, so I'll get them kind of fairly tight to start with, and then I'll do the final tighten once they're all snugged down. And give it a tap with this. Once they're done up kind of tight, these bolts won't turn, you won't have to hold them. And there we have it. One sprocket changed.